What is up, everyone?
Um,
Welcome back to another episode of Hockey Town University. You are here with me once again, and unfortunately, Derek is back, and you are here with Matt, Leslie once again. What's going on, boys? Derek, glad you're back from
oh
Vegas. I
man,
guess. What's going on, bud?
Oh boys, glad to be
funny the
back. I
second
literally
time.
yep, this is weird the second time, second recording, but I had to do it twice. So ignore that. But boys, I'm back. Made it out of the desert complete and full and not completely broke this time like I was last time I came back from Vegas. It's very helpful having a girlfriend with you, let me tell you that. Puts that spending in check a little bit because, you just kind of hand her the wallet and you don't touch it.
So
It works
yeah,
out a lot for me.
So yeah, they said that it's not as funny, and it's kind of more weird the second time you gotta do it. You guys don't know, but we actually had to do the intro for the second time because my internet went out. So that's great. Great start to the episode.
Very
Leslie, how you
lovely.
doing, bud?
I am doing great. I really appreciate you opening up with that, Derek, because I've been in a bad mood all day thinking about Jamie Benn and how stupid he is and what he did last night. But now you've lifted my spirits, so I appreciate you for doing that. And yeah, I'm doing well. Not a whole lot's been going on since our last recording. I guess it was only 2 days ago, but I did have dinner with my grandma tonight. We went to the Brentwood Grill in Novi. Very good restaurant. If you're looking for a restaurant that is affordable but also makes really good food, that's a good place to go to. I will expect them to pay for the next ad because I don't do these things for free, but whatever. I'll give them a free one just to get the word out there. And I think that's about all I have going on over here.
Yeah, so Leslie's actually gonna segue our way into our talking point. So no Red Wings news, just some around the league news. We are going to play a game, hence the title. Red Wings UFA signings that we will do. Each one of us has a list of 3 to 5 players that we would like to sign in the offseason. So hopefully we're correct. And we're somewhat Steve Yzerman-esque, if that's even a word. Who knows? I just made it now. All right.
It is now.
Yeah, Leslie, why don't you go ahead and kick it off with Jamie Benn?
Boy, oh boy. So I don't know how many people out there listening caught the game last night, but Jamie Benn very early in the game did cross-check Mark Stone in the neck. I don't really know what happened during the play. I guess it doesn't really matter because it doesn't justify cross-checking someone in the neck. And I would also like to point out that that's pretty much the exact same move he did to Dylan Larkin all those years ago that I think it put him out of the rest of the season. So it's a very dangerous move. Anytime you're taking your stick and jamming it into someone's spine, that could be a career-ending injury if it hits in the wrong place and you do it hard enough. So Jamie Benn is just he's disgusting. He's a rat fuck. I really hate him. It's really unfortunate because I like all the players on Dallas. I would be rooting for them otherwise if he wasn't on that team, but I don't want to see him happy and lifting the cup. It also kind of feels like after this happened, like league wide, everyone has kind of come out and condemned him for this, which I feel a bit vindicated about because I've hated him ever since he did that to Larkin. So it feels good for other people to recognize the fact that this dude is an absolute scumbag. And he did get a 2-game suspension for it. Probably going to lose tomorrow, so it might as well be an indefinite suspension because they're getting bounced by Vegas. And Jamie Benn can go cry while he's with his wife, and that's all he does with his wife is cry. He doesn't do anything else with her.
Nothing else.
I won't allude to that, but I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it at that.
But guys, didn't you see his quote from earlier? That it was unfortunate that what's his nuts was underneath him when he was falling, and he shouldn't have used his stick to brace himself. Like he just accidentally used him as a landing pad. He didn't mean to cross check him. Just don't watch the video, and you'll believe it.
Yeah, all right, so watching the game last night, well, as soon as I saw it, first reaction, grab my phone, go on Twitter, see if the video's on there yet, see what everyone's saying. Once a video gets on there, put it in slow motion for yourself because clearly the ESPN wasn't showing it very well. They didn't have a great angle. It is what it is. So then you find the video and you see Literally, Jamie Benn, for 2 seconds, hover over Mark Stone after Mark Stone fell on his butt, hover over him, look down at him, both hands grabbing his stick, says he falls down onto him and uses his stick as a landing spot. No, you used Mark Stone's neck as a landing spot with your stick in your hands. That's completely different, dude. And your explanation at the press conference today fucking sucked, dude. Like, you are just not accountable for your actions whatsoever. And honestly, I'm really glad that it happened in the playoffs because you know what? Like you guys said, the whole entire world got to see it now. It's on full display. It's one thing. Okay. No, I shouldn't say it like that. It's not one thing if you do it to Dylan Larkin because you shouldn't be doing it at all. You did it to Dylan Larkin. You got lucky and got away with basically a slap on the wrist. This 2-game suspension to me is a slap on the wrist. Like you said, Leslie, it doesn't matter how many games he got suspended because they're probably going to get swept. You saw what happened to them last night when he got kicked out of the game. Their goaltending has been bad. Jake Andre got pulled. Their offense has not been playing heavy. Their whole entire team stinks. 2 games? Give them a 1-game suspension in the playoffs. Give them a bunch for the regular season at the start of the season. This type of stuff does not belong in the league. He got not suspended. He got fined 3 times last season by NHL player safety. 3 times he got fined. $5,000 or however the amount was. Like, 2 games?
The max.
Like, it's bullshit. This stuff does not belong in hockey. Like I said, it's good that it happened in the playoffs. Everyone got to see it, and now everyone is like, F Jamie Benn. Like, I don't even know what else to say other than I'm very upset that he did it. I know Derek and I joke around saying that we're Vegas fans and that we might have been the first fans for Vegas, but way, like I saw him do it to Dylan Larkin. Now he's doing it to Mark Stone. He's going to do it again. We literally just talked about Joe Veleno and like him stomping on someone. Like, who's to say he's not going to do it again? Look at what Jamie Benn is doing every year, multiple times a year. This stuff has got to stop, and the league needs to do something about it. And yeah, if they don't make it to the Cup final, and it looks like that they're not, good. And that sucks to say because it's pretty much just on Jamie Benn. Like Leslie said, I like all those players. Robertson, Hintz, Pavelski. Pavelski deserves to win a cup. That man's been trying forever. But it all came down to Jamie Benn and his fuck up. Go ahead, Derek. Sorry.
I was just saying, Pavelski's been trying in every team to get there and just can't make it, so Jamie Benn's just ruining it.
Yeah, does anyone else have any other stuff that they want to add on to that? I got a little feisty there, but deservedly so. I mean, I was even going ham on him on Twitter, and I was like, dude, like, you got to stop this shit.
Did he respond?
No, but the Arizona Coyotes did reply to one of my tweets, so that was great. Shout out to that Twitter admin over there.
Shout out Coyotes.
Leslie, do you have anything else that you want to add to that as well? F Jamie Benn?
I just think it's absolutely pathetic that after that incident last night, he didn't even bother addressing the media. You know, I think Ottinger and it might have been Pavelski. I don't remember the guys who addressed him, but you know, the other players are addressing the media. You know, nobody wants to do it after a loss, and let's face it, nobody wants to do it after a win either. But the fact that you did that on the ice and you just are not going to make yourself available for comment, wow, some leader you are. I mean, if I'm a player in that locker room and I look at the way that Jamie Benn handles himself after he does something he needs to be held accountable for, that leaves me with a bad taste in my mouth. I'm looking at the guy and I'm like, this is really how my captain acts? Like, is this really how you lead? Oh, if you do something dirty on the ice, don't worry about it because you don't have to talk to the media if you don't want to. No, it's just despicable. I really, really don't like that guy. He makes my skin crawl, honestly. And I don't know, this is just a little inkling that I have, but I feel like out of all the NHL players in the league, he's probably at the bottom of my list to want to go grab a beer with. He just seems like he's not going to be fun to hang out with. He won't laugh at any of your jokes. He's not going to joke with you. You know, he's probably going to start a fight if he has too many beers. seems like just a bad guy to be around. But I probably shouldn't say any more on Jamie Benn. I'll get myself in trouble. Maybe I already have, but that's more time than I
Before we
wanted to
move
talk
on
about
to our
that
main
guy.
topic here, one other thing that I do want to add is that the Dallas Stars actually did come out and tweet an apology note to the people watching, to the Vegas Golden Knights players, whoever else was there. And they only apologized for their own fans throwing items onto the ice, and they had to end the second period early and tack on the extra 21 seconds to the third to clean up all the beer that was on the ice. I know it's not up to the organization itself, the GM, whoever, to come out and apologize for Jamie Benn's actions. But I do think that that says a lot, that your organization is coming out and apologizing for its fans doing what they did before Jamie Benn could come out and say why he did what he did. If he came out sooner and talked after the game, could the suspension have come down? Maybe. But I think the 2 games is warranted based on the actions of what he did. I do think that he should have gotten more just for the fact that he hid in a little hut for almost 24 hours. And then finally we get hearing from him that it was an accident and that he fell. Bullshit, dude. Go away. Your ass to the streets. I hate you. All right. There we go. Get the blood flowing, boys.
Let's move this on away from Jamie Benn because damn.
All right. Does anyone want to volunteer to go first? Showcase, sir. All right. So the main topic of today's episode is Detroit Red Wings unrestricted free agent targets. The rules are simple. Let me pull them up here because I don't have them pulled up, unfortunately, right now. The boys already knew the rules. The rules they're very simple. You can only sign unrestricted free agents. Very easy. And
thanks, Dad.
You do not need to specify the contract
I can follow one of those rules
or the amount. The third one, have fun. Does that sound good, boys?
Well, I can showcase, but I got to show it to the screen because I put it on my phone. And
I will go first, and I'll give Derek a little time to actually type it out so that way he can share it on his screen. So hang tight for me here, people. All right. Well, for some reason, I can't seem to get mine to work, so I'll work on that. So Leslie gets to go first. Go ahead, bud. Shoot it off for us.
All right. Well, you told me that I only had to do 3 today, so I said, screw it. Let me do 4 because I'm an overachiever. So I tried to pick one of each position. So I got 1D up there, 1 goalie, 1 forward, and I threw Pew Suter in there because I figured, why not? For extra credit, I'll get one of our guys on our team that I got to be honest, he's probably the only UFA would even consider re-signing on our team. The big benefit, I'm just going to start with Scott Mayfield since he's first on the list. The big benefit there is he plays right D, and he's a really solid defenseman. He doesn't put up too much point-wise. Let me go ahead and look up his stats real quick. Yeah, so this year with the Islanders, he played a full season, had 6 goals, 18 assists for 24 points. He's just going to be a solid depth defenseman. Probably is going to play in the bottom pair with maybe Edmondson. I think he'd be a good partner for Edmondson. He's kind of a veteran guy. I think he's 30 or 31 now, so he's been around the block a few times and also has been in some playoff series, so he's going to bring a little bit of that prior playoff knowledge, that veteran presence, whatever you really want to call it. I think he's also going to come cheap too. I don't really exactly know what I would sign him to. I don't know what he's making right now, but that's okay. We'll deal with that this summer when we come to it. So, yeah, I think he's a good candidate to sign for that right D slot. It's a gaping hole right now, and the guy playing above him on the depth sheet will be Ben Sherratt. So, yeah, that's how bad it is. It's quite bad, but hopefully he can help us. And then we got Pew Suter here. I was kind of debating in my head what I would even want to do with him. I kind of feel like I would like to re-sign Suter and just have him do that 4C role, and maybe you move Veleno to the wing. I don't know, maybe Veleno has some untapped offensive potential, and just being at center, while I know he was developed or drafted and developed to play center, I think all those responsibilities kind of take away from his overall offensive game. So maybe you can sign a guy like Pius Suter. He's shown that he's a serviceable 4C. I'm not going to say he's the best in the world, although he was shutting down Connor McDavid when they played him. So not everyone can do that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to include him in there because he was a Red Wing. Then we got Adin Hill, who is playing tomorrow, actually, believe it or not. And I think he was like the third goalie on the depth chart for Vegas. And ever since he's come in, he's looked really good. He's looked better than Jake Ottinger, which a lot of people thought that guy could probably be a Conn Smythe nominee if Vegas pulled it off in the Stanley Cup Finals. And Adin Hill has kind of been outplaying him. This year, he has a 915 save percentage. So that's pretty damn good. If you're going to sign a guy to be a backup and he has a save percentage like that, maybe you could even have him and Huso split the starts. It definitely seems like Adin Hill is more than capable of taking over a net and just getting the job done. I do want to say, though, that he's playing behind a really good defense in Vegas. And, this defense has made leaps and bounds in the last few years, but it's not the Vegas defense. So I don't really see him keeping that up next year. However, Vegas has to choose between him, Laurent Brossoit, and Logan Thompson for next year. They can't keep all of them. I think Adin Hill will be the odd man out, and we'll take him over in Detroit. And for the last one, Alex Killorn. I really was struggling to find a guy for the forwards, but Alex Killorn wouldn't be that bad. He's 33 right now. You don't really need to sign him that long, maybe a 3 or 4 year deal. I think he'd be a good second line winger. He had 27 goals, 37 assists, and 64 points this year. That's more than serviceable for the second line. I will absolutely take that. Maybe you can play with Marco Casper next year. You never know. But yeah, I think these are pretty good options. Just looking at what we have to work with here, this pool is very, very shallow. If last year's pool was, the deep end at your local swimming hole, this is the kiddie pool this year. So you're not going to find a Johnny Gaudreau in free agency this year. You're not going to find I don't even remember who the big name guys were last year, but they were definitely better than the guys that are available this year. So kind of have to make do with what you have. But I think those names are some intriguing options for the Red Wings, and a lot of them fit the timeline. So works for me.
I liked all those options. I don't think you put any bad option, honestly. And like you said, it's not as deep of a UFA class as it was last season. There's some decent names out there, but no, I mean, it's tough, right? No superstar talent really ever gets to UFA. I mean, you had Johnny Ham and Cheese. That was probably the best out in UFA last season. If you want to classify him as that, I would classify him as an elite winger. But others might have them pegged somewhere else. But yeah, I liked all those picks, Leslie. I'd be happy with all those players if we had the room for all of them. Adin Hill, I think, would make the most sense. I'm not too familiar with what Vegas's situation is. I know that they don't really have too much cap, but I do know that they can bury players on LTIR, considering they've been doing that ever since they basically became a franchise. So maybe they can keep Adin Hill somehow. But if they can't, then I think Yzerman should definitely try and get him. I mean, if he's performing this well in the playoffs, granted, he's got Vegas Golden Knights in front of him. But for a team like the Red Wings, who's more defensively sound, well, not more than Vegas, I would say, but a more defensively sounded team, yeah, I think an Adin Hill could thrive here, and having a 1-2 punch of him and Husso could be really great, for sure. Derek, do you want to go next, or should I try?
I mean, I'd say, Zach, you go next, just because I'm looking at this list and praying to God that I actually went with UFAs, and I think I'm halfway there, and the other half I'm terrified to show everybody, so you go.
You'll get bullet points with mine.
All right. Well, my internet seems to have really messed up. So Derek's going to go next, and Leslie's going to have to share mine for me. So, Derek, go ahead and kick it off, buddy. You're next.
Alrighty, boys and girls out there, you can see what I got up on the screen right here. First and foremost, Vladimir Tarasenko, Tyler Bertuzzi, and Dmitry Orlov were my picks. I originally had another one on there, but I learned that I was wrong, and I was smart to try to make Zach go first. So, might as well start first in the list with Tarasenko up there. 31 years old, 6 foot, 225 right wiener. Shoots left for some reason, but it's what it is. Coming in right now at 7.5 million, but the Rangers just won't be able to afford him next year. I wouldn't pay for that. The Wings, could use him. Means what? 40 points in 69 games this season. I'd say he could be a decent middle line wiener, probably second line, but at this point, he's getting old. Could be the fact that he's switching team. He used to be very good. We all saw his point production back when he, I believe, was with Washington, right?
Oh my goodness.
Tarasenko?
That was St. Louis. Yep.
Yeah, he was at St. Louis.
Hey, I was put together list, and none of them are people I wanted, so I didn't put too much research into it. So honestly, that's a lie. There's one person on that list I do want, and I'll get to him in a second. But
yeah, I was about to say, as long as you know where Bertuzzi played, I think you're okay.
I think I'll be okay with that. But
good.
That Tarasenko, he was assistant captain since 2016. Not bad point production. I don't know if it's switching teams, getting old, or what it is with this year, but probably just one down year. So wherever he lands, I think he's going to be a really good player for that team, and that's why I think the Red Wings could use him as a nice second line center. Put the point production up there. Have a couple of the prospects come up on wing. I'm not going to guess on how much I'd actually paid for him, but I'd say give him a nice 6-year deal at some point, around $5 million, 5.5. 6? Fuck. We're pushing it, but I'm lowballing a little bit, I think, but
that's not what I would call it.
Hey, these are just my predictions. It's what I want. I don't know if it's correct. I don't make these deals. I don't know worth of players
writing down
right
on my
now.
notes, never to make Derek a general manager of any sports team that I own.
So we're gonna go
ever.
This is why we should not put what we would put down, because I just came out of nowhere. Okay, we're going to pass on Tarasenko there after I would say he'd still be an okay pick.
It sounds like we're not taking him. We talked ourselves out of it.
But we're going to go back to Tyler Bertuzzi. I don't really got to say much. I want him back. I've said I didn't want to lose him months ago. We lost him. I complained about it. Now it's back to right now. Boston lost in the first round. I'm a little upset he put up so many points. He just kind of upped his stock a little bit in the playoffs. So I don't think we're going to get him at any kind of deal that we wanted at before. But at the same time, I think we got the cap space. So, I want to throw the kid a bone. I want him back. I just want his jersey to be able to be worn again, even though I'll probably still wear it. So, it is what it is, even though he does play for Boston right now. And if he stays at Boston, it'll stay in my closet.
Derek,
nothing will happen to it.
Rumblings out there from the Daily Face-Off saying their top 50 UFA agents, they have Tyler Bertuzzi as the second highest paid going into free agency, and they have him listed at getting a 6-year deal worth $5.25 million per year. Is that something you would sign Tyler Bertuzzi to? Instantly. You look at that and you're like, $500K more than what he was paid on his contract? Hell yeah. Yeah. I'm shocked if he's willing to take that much. If that's what it is, then yeah, Steve Yzerman, you call his agent all day and you go and sign him. Leslie, would you do that?
If his agent says yes to that, his agent should be probably fired. So we'll just go with that in there. But yes, to answer your question, Zach, 100% yes. If they both came to the table saying they would do this for this amount of time for this year's. Oh yeah, I'd give him that piece of paper and pen, make him sign right there. Yes, please.
I would absolutely sign that deal, but I would be shocked if Tyler Bertuzzi himself is looking for a deal like that. I forget how old he is. I think he's 26 or 27, but
I believe he's
nevertheless,
23.
In this offseason, he's going to be looking for the biggest contract of his career. I mean, whatever contract he's going to sign, if I were him, I'd be looking for $7 million. I don't think he's going to get $7 million on this market, but if you really want to maximize on your value, you would ask for that. And I really do think there's teams out there that would consider him at that number. You got to remember that that value is not only going to reflect what he does in the regular season, but we just saw what he did in the playoffs. And the Boston Bruins are complete frauds, but Tyler Bertuzzi is not. He was definitely their best player. He was better than that rat-faced Brad Marchand, better than Patrice face-off win Bergeron. Just it was a real shame that Linus Ullmark had to be a piece of Swiss cheese, but yeah, Bertuzzi has definitely shown that he's worth a lot of money, and if that's all he wants, I'm signing that in a heartbeat. If I'm Steve Yzerman, I would be shocked if that's all he wants. So I love him back, but I don't think he's going to get that number. I think he's going to get, honestly, he's going to get higher.
100% pod consensus on that. So, Derek, you still have a couple words on Dmitry Orlov.
Yep, and that's the last pick. The funny thing with that last comment, Leslie, I also put in here that he had the first overall points on the team, tied with the rat face himself. So thank you for bringing that up right now.
There you go.
But last but not least on the list, we got Dmitry Orlov up in here. You know, just I'd say probably in this UFA the most coveted defenseman right now. I know at the age of 31 you wouldn't think, and 5'11", 214, not that big, but after his series in the playoff with Boston, even though it was only 7 games, dude got 8 points. He blew it up. It was a good midseason trade from, I believe it came from Washington.
You're correct.
Over to Boston, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he's been a Washington guy.
From Washington.
Sweet, yeah. Oh, I should have looked at his page. Yeah, he's never played nowhere but Washington. But I know we probably don't need as much depth on the D anymore, but with the young prospects we have coming up, I would like to have somebody who knows actually how to play the position, and the fact that he did just blow up. And I'm going to say probably has at least another 5 years of doing what he's doing at a minimum. I'd sign him for a nice little deal up in there. I'm not going to even speculate on what anyone should pay if someone else wants to look that up for me and guess, so I don't look like a total idiot. But I would say a nice not older, but a seasoned veteran who's been to the playoffs multiple times and knows what he's doing, has cup runs. I think he has a cup in there too, obviously with Washington. And
yeah, he won with Washington.
I mean, what can you say about that? I would definitely take that, especially for the young guys coming up on the team. It's something to actually teach them what they're supposed to do, because obviously with his plus minus even over his entire career, I think he's only gone negative maybe one time in maybe his first year. So there's not much to say about that, but you're being a good defenseman and not letting the puck get past you. So
I'm down for Dmitry Orlov. The only issue is he's a left-handed defenseman. I mean, where in the hell am I going to put him if I get him? That's...
Stop thinking about that.
I mean, I'd be okay with that. I mean, that's
defensemen,
something we can talk about in another episode. Yeah, but I mean, that's definitely an option on the table for sure. Yeah, we have plenty of them. I mean, prospects and just
that could happen.
Regular NHLers on our team that play on the left-handed side and that you left. Yeah.
I mean,
might have to get something up for someone to take that guy. Unfortunately, you slightly used washing machine we'll give you with Ben Sherrod. Just take him. We don't want him anymore.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, Derek, other than that, your list, I like your list. I would have put all those players on my list too. Fortunately, I didn't have any of the players that these two knuckleheads on their list. Vladimir Tarasenko, yeah, there's room for him on the right wing. You still have Lucas Raymond and you still have Daddy P over there, but you know, I think Daddy P and all the other St. Louis Blues players that we have can definitely talk to Tarasenko and be like, hey, bud, you want to come to the Red Wings? You know, got some space over here. And then when Daddy P's gone, you know, you can have the second line duty playing right wing. Fair deal. I like it. All right. Well, Leslie was nice enough to write down my list of players. I wrote down 4.5 slightly, as you guys can see what I wrote down there at the bottom. I'll start with that one. Yeah, I just want any goalie that's not named Nedeljkovic or Hellberg. You can give me anyone. I really do not care. And I think anyone that you find in free agency can be just as good, if not better. Literally, both of them were under 900 save percentage this season. I liked Leslie's Aiden Hill UFA signing. That was one that I would have put down. I also would consider, like, I'm a big Tristan Jari guy. I know a lot of people probably think that's not a good idea because look at how all the other Pittsburgh Penguins goalies pan out once they end up getting out, like Matt Murray. Flower is a bad example of that, but still, I don't know. That might be a bad one to pick, and Tristan Jari might actually want a little bit more. You could even look at someone like Frederick Anderson. He gets injured all the time, and sometimes he gets a little streaky. But really, I do think that any option's better than Nedeljkovic or Hellberg. So there's my funny one for that. But yeah, let's start at the top. Yeah, I got Max Domi. What he was the only one who showed up in that Dallas game. He also got fined today $5,000 for slashing Mark Stone. Mark Stone took a huge beating in yesterday's game. But yeah, Max. Yeah, no, they sure did.
Jesus,
Max Domi is very
they
much.
ganged up on him.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, Max Domi is just a headstrong player. He goes and does everything for his teammates. He will attack the opposing team. He is just that rat guy that you hate to play against. And that is someone that I'm willing to add on the Red Wings. And he plays left wing. He can play center. So there's a little center depth for you. Our left wing needs a little more bolstering. I mean, you pretty much only have Rasmussen, Berggren, who could also play the right wing if you needed him to. Kubalik, Fabry, who can also play the right wing. Who else am I missing?
Well,
right, and
we have Soderblom too, but
so that's
it's
why
not
I
a
would add
guarantee I'll
Max
be here
Domi.
next
And
year.
Max Domi, he put up 20 goals and 56 points in 80 games this season. I think that's pretty good. I wouldn't sign him to a long-term contract. If you can get him for like 3 years, I think that's great. Maybe 4. You can get him at a decent cap hit. He currently makes, what does it say, 4.7, or no, that's what it's projected at. Sorry, I'm looking at daily faceoffs number. They have him listed at potential 5-year, $4.75 million deal. I wouldn't do that. That's a little bit longer term than I like. I like how Yzerman does it, where he keeps them in the 2 to 3 year realm. You can see what they do, and then obviously you can extend them afterwards. Just kind of see what they do first for the team. So, but Max Domi's on there for sure. I think that that's a player that we could utilize, especially if we're heading in the right direction towards the playoffs. And that puts me into Alex Killorn as well. He plays right wing. I think that this is a prime Daddy P replacement for when Daddy P decides that he doesn't want to be a Red Wing anymore, or if he just wants to hang up the skates. Alex Killorn easily could maintain the middle 6. If you have him and Daddy P, I think that's awesome. More the merrier. And this is just an Yzerman guy. I mean, Yzerman knew him from Tampa Bay. He's won more than, or I was going to say more than one. So clearly it's just only 2. So he's won 2 cups. He's got that experience. He's just an old leadership veteran type of guy that I think you could really utilize for the Red Wings. He's just a really great player in general. What did he put up for points? He got 27 goals, 64 points this season. Yeah, that put him second behind Larkin for goals, and that's something we desperately need is more goals. So, and you could put him on the power play too. I don't know about Max Domi on the power play going back to him, so that's something I would figure out. But maybe the PK, I would have to check and see how they utilize him. Yeah, Radko Gudas.
Yeah, he's better for the penalty kill for sure.
Radko Gudas is my right-handed
body,
defenseman.
someone
I
around.
did originally have Scott Mayfield written down. I did like Leslie's selection, but I also like Radko Gudas as well. Scott Mayfield is not available. As you can see with the Florida Panther Kitty Cats, who are beating Carolina 2-1. Oh, Carolina scored. Okay. Radko Gudas is just a bowling ball, wrecking ball out there, dude. Like he just murders people. And you guys can probably tell the trend that I'm kind of going with Max Domi and Radko Gudas. If we can't get Tyler Bertuzzi back, who was kind of like that player for us, who was that wrecking ball and that guy who got in player space, let's get other players that can fill those roles for him that might come in at the same cap hit as he does, but with 2 players that do the exact same thing. So now you don't have one Tyler Bertuzzi at $6 million, but you have a Max Domi and a Radko Gudas for $6 million. A forward and a defenseman. If you can make it work, I think that would be great. I love what Radko Gudas brings. He sometimes gets points, but I'm definitely having him out there for his defensive skill. And he can do that. And the fact that he can put the fear of God into people. And I love his beard. He's got an amazing beard, and I'm very jealous. I've been thinking about my beard lately, and yeah, I think I'm going to grow it back here pretty shortly. So if you guys don't know what I look like with a beard, go check out some of our earlier episodes. It was definitely getting to Henrik Zetterberg vibe esque. So man, I keep on doing the esque thing.
Definitely not a Retko Gudis vibe, but he was getting somewhere.
Yeah, that guy looks like a Civil War general right now with his beard.
I just want to touch it. It's so beautiful. Oh my god. It's terrifying, actually.
It honestly, it's so thick that I think if you punched him
It's
in
like
the
a Chuck
chin,
Norris thing.
it would just absorb it and probably throw it back at you. That's how thick it is. Exactly.
You try to
Yeah,
punch
he
his
doesn't
chin,
have
the
a
chin
chin under his
punches
beard. It's
you.
just another fist.
So next up on my list is Ivan
Yep.
Barbashev, playing with the Golden Knights right now. He's killing it in the playoffs with them. Yeah, just watching him in the playoffs, he's definitely a playoff style player. And obviously, we just talked about it, Tyler Bertuzzi. Yeah, if you're going to get Tyler Bertuzzi, you're going to pay a little bit extra for what he does for you in the playoffs. So why can't we just go out and get an Ivan Barbashev who's going to come in a little bit less, who produces just a little bit less, but you can utilize him in the playoffs if and when you eventually get there, which I think we could get there. 2 to 3 years. So if you can sign him for 4 years, I think he's 27, maybe 28, maybe a little bit younger. So I don't think that's out of the ordinary, or not out of the ordinary, but I don't think that's too unrealistic to kind of give him like a 4-year deal, maybe 5 at a reasonable cap hit. I like his style of play. I think he's got great hands. I think he's just an all-around great player who definitely likes to get in the middle of things as well. So really good shot. That's my list. Any other goalie other than Ned or Hellberg once again? What do you guys think about my list?
I'll send you over Jerry.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
like the list. I was looking at Max Domi. I almost put him in over Alex Killorn. I really like Max Domi's game. And honestly, for whatever reason, he's just been bouncing around a lot ever since he got drafted by Arizona. But
Yeah.
I think that guy is a great playoff performer. I mean, you're kind of seeing it with Dallas right now. They're kind of getting punked right now by Vegas. And not kind of, they are getting punked by Vegas. And Domi's kind of the only one who's really showed up. So we'll definitely need him for the playoff runs. I don't really know what kind of term you would want to give him. Maybe 4 years at the most is what I would want to do. But I don't want to say he's a Bertuzzi replacement. He's kind of a Bertuzzi light, but that's the type of player that Yzerman wants. Competitive players, pricks to play against, and he puts up a little bit of offense, so that's good too. I love that you put Radko Gudas here. I almost put him there too. I don't want to say Gudas is Sherratt because I think he's better than Sherratt, but Gudas is kind of out there just to kill people, which I don't mind. I think the only difference between him and a guy like Ben Sherratt is Gudas is still defensively sound. Like, he's not the best defenseman out there, but yeah, he will definitely just go murder someone if he wants to. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't think he really gets too many penalties, so he kind of gets away with a lot. And yeah, he's a really big guy. He's got that look in his eye that if you cross me in a scrum, I will break my stick in half and stab you with it. That's another guy. That's another Steve Yzerman player right there. And this team needs to get tougher. Gudas, if he's signed in free agency, will immediately make them tougher. People are not going to be going guys like Raymond and Larkin out there on the ice if Gudas is out there patrolling around. So I think he'd be almost kind of like a good bodyguard for those guys. And he'll chip in a little offense when he can, but I think mostly he'll just be a solid defenseman. I think that's about all I have. Yeah. What did we say? Goodbye in Swedish was last episode, Zach? Farval. Farval. Yeah. Farval to you, Hellberg, and goodbye to you, Ned. Go back and play in Ohio.
In the back of my head,
from Ohio?
In the back of my head, I want to say yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
He is. Yeah. So go sign with Columbus. That'd be cool. Just play for your home state. Just anywhere but here because you haven't been great. But I guess that's about all I really have to say. Not really too much else there. I like the list. Should I put it back up so Derek can read it?
Oh no, you're good. I saw it all, but yeah, I mean, you guys said it pretty much all with Gudas and Domi in there. I was actually thinking the same prospect as both of you. Otherwise, I mean, if I can get Bertuzzi, I would. Otherwise, the other two,
that's not a bad steal if you can get it for the same price, obviously, like Zach said. Kaloran's the one I might be a little back and forth on just because he's almost, I think, a year younger than Daddy P anyways. So it's like, I feel like those two might just coincide when they both retire, depending on where they're at, because he's down in Tampa Bay right now with a few cups under his belt with a winning team.
Just
You might just want to end it at that point.
Earn
to
as
stay
much
down
more
there
as
for
you
like 2
can,
more
just for 2
years,
years with the
but-
Red Wings. We'll give you give him a 2-year deal. Baron's on 1 year left. Then
Yeah, why
eventually
not?
you give him the A or whatever. Or you sign him the 3-year deal. You give him in the A when Perron leaves. You give him I don't know. I don't even know how much he makes right now, but you can give him $5 million each year for 3 years. I think that's more than fine. Yeah, you're kind of overpaying a little bit, but I mean, you got to meet the cap floor. We're just underneath it, and we got 30 mil to spend. I'm not sitting here saying we need to use it all, but if you want Alex Killorn and you want to use him for his veteran leadership and his skill on the ice, I think there's a good reason to sign him.
I say
Yeah.
if we're gonna do that, I want to bring up some young meat up to the lineup too. That way they can actually learn from the old boys in. Because at that point we need to level it out from the age difference there. We don't want to be the 27 plus old team out there like Boston is right now, because they're gonna be in a rough position next year with all their old boys, unless they get some new meat in there too. So I'd say bring up some young people if we're gonna do that. But all in all, it's again, I can't argue with the list. It's a good list still. These are definitely players.
I think we all had
could
great
definitely
lists.
utilize with
Honestly,
the Red
I
Wings.
don't think anyone picked a bad player.
Very
All right, boys.
bottom.
Yeah.
I
all
think
the way
we
to the
can
bottom.
now move on to our next topic,
And by
which
the
is our
bottom, I
draft
mean the
profile
AHL.
of USNTDP player of the U18s, Oliver Moore. And as I scroll down here, I should have already been prepared. I scroll down here, Oliver Moore, 5'11", 188-pound left-handed center, will mostly play in the NHL as a top 6 center. Currently plays with the USNTDP U18s, like I said, once again. In his 53 games this season, he put up 64 points on the second line as a 2C. He put up 26 goals, 38 assists, and in the 7 games for the World Junior Championship U18 tournament and 1 gold, he put up 9 points for 4 goals, 5 assists. In most mock drafts, if you go on Elite Prospects, he's ranked anywhere from 6th to 16th, and I saw one for 20th, which blew my mind. I don't see him falling that far. I'd be shocked. I do see him as a top 12 pick. I'd even be shocked if he made it past pick 12, to be honest with you guys. Things that I like about Oliver Moore, then I'll let the boys kind of talk a little bit because I went on a huge rant last episode and I kind of felt like I didn't leave much for Leslie to speak on. So strengths for me when I see Oliver Moore, skating, compete, his defensive skill, he's got a pretty decent shot too. Things that he needs to improve on, just strength in general. Yeah, I know I said 188 pounds, but just get a little stronger, be a little more harder to get off the puck. And then just try to simplify the game a little bit more. He skates exactly like Dylan Larkin. That's a comparable I'm going to make, is that he's literally just Dylan Larkin 2.0. Just needs to slow the game down. Doesn't always need to be super fast. Just slow down, read the plays a little bit better. Everything will come your way. That's all I got on him so far. I'll let the boys kind of handle it from here, and then I'll add in a little bit whatever's left that they don't touch on. So not all at once, boys.
I'll jump in right now just because this might be the one player I have done the least amount of research on, besides the fact of reading quotes about how goddamn fast he is. Apparently, both back and forth, only thing he does is just a lightning bolt from the stop to go. Like, he's just quick on his feet, flies past everybody like they're standing still. And that's all I've seen in his reels, too. He flies down the ice. He looks like Dylan Larkin back when he played for Michigan. It was crazy. But the one thing that comes with it, like Zach said, it looks like he gets knocked off the puck pretty easily, and that speed could also be like a two-edged sword for him. So if he loses control, gets knocked off, then it's like puck's gone, and you're 50 feet past the actual play now because your feet are still moving, but you don't have the puck anymore. Again, though, don't know a whole lot about the guy. Have not done enough research besides the quotes and few clips I've seen of his feet just floating. So Leslie, I'm gonna hope that you have a lot more in-depth knowledge than I do on this one.
Well, if all of you listening love Dylan Larkin, you're going to love Oliver Moore. And I know I'm the third person in a row to say that, oh, he's Dylan Larkin. I'm going to pair him to Dylan Larkin. This is not me saying that I think he will be Dylan Larkin or else he will be a bust. I think Larkin is his ceiling. I do kind of have some questions about his production up at the NHL level. He was playing on the second line for the development team, but 75 points in 61 games. That's nothing to really sneeze at. That's good production. And I think he was playing with Cole Yzerman, and I don't even know the other guy he was playing with. So I think most of this he kind of got done by himself with just one really good winger. So maybe that production is substantial and sustainable. I guess we won't really know until next year when he goes to Minnesota. And while he's there, he's gonna be playing with some really good players. He'll have Logan Cooley there. I'm blanking on the other really good prospect who's over there. So someone in the comments can tell me. I know that Matthew Nyes is now gone, but there was another good guy over there. But anyways, that's a really good team. They came really close to winning the Frozen Four this year, so he's gonna have a lot of talent to play with. That's a great program to be in. I've seen him mocked around Detroit at number 9 a lot. I think this, outside of like Ryan Leonard, this is the most Yzerman type player available. He's a two-way forward, plays great defense. He has a really good shot. It's actually a pretty hard shot. It's not like Ryan Leonard, where Ryan Leonard can just kind of pick those corners with ease, and it's not the hardest shot, but it is very deceptive. When this dude shoots the puck, and you can watch his highlight videos from the U18 team or development program, whatever team he was playing for, that dude flexes the stick like it's gonna snap in half, and he snaps it home. His snapshot is it might be one of the best in the draft. I got to be honest with you. I haven't seen any other prospect shoot like this kid. Obviously Connor Bedard has his own unique shot. I can't really compare it to him, but he's really one of the better shooters in this draft. And he's going to fit in very well with what Detroit's building. He's a really smooth skater, super fast. We definitely have seen enough Red Wings games to know that this is not a very good skating team. So, yeah, he'll be one of the better skaters when he hops into the lineup. And I think the only real question I have for him is, what is his ceiling going to be in the NHL? I see him being a 2C. I don't know how much offense he's going to put up. But, oh God, what was my other point that I was trying to make? I just blanked on it now. My brain sometimes just stops working, and I forget what I was going to say.
That's okay, buddy. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I think really only one of his big weaknesses is just he's not super strong on the puck, but that's kind of just because he tries to get a little too cute with it. He kind of suffers from that Toronto Maple Leaf syndrome, where they have so many talented players that they think they can do everything on the ice, and they try and do an extra move or two, and the puck gets knocked off their stick. Oliver Moore is definitely guilty of that. I think that's just with him playing against the competition that he is right now. I mean, he's playing against like Division 2 and 3 colleges. I watched a highlight. He was playing against the Army hockey team. I didn't even know the U.S. Army had a hockey team, but apparently they did. And spoiler alert, they didn't do very well against the development program. So, yeah, he's not facing the best talent right now, so he kind of gets away with doing stuff like that. That's not going to work at the NHL level, though. I think playing in college for a couple of years, maybe a year in the AHL, that'll get ironed out of his game. He's going to learn pretty quickly that he just needs to simplify things. But overall, I really like his game. His game is very well suited to the NHL. I don't think you're going to have any issues with this guy playing a 200-foot game. In my mind, watching him skate, he's kind of really already up to NHL speed. He's such a fast skater and so smooth. He looks like he's not even like giving in any effort too. Like his stride is just that good. So there's a lot to like there with Oliver Moore. Really, really fits this Red Wings team very well. And as I said before, he's really just a great Yzerman type prospect. So I think if he's there at number 9, between him and Ryan Leonard, it's tough to choose. You may only get the choice of Oliver Moore because Ryan Leonard may go before. So, yeah, if he's there at number 9, I think that's the guy I want right there. I'll put him over guys like Matthew Wood, Sandine Pellica, um,
A
I
couple
guess whoever
things
else is there.
that
That's my pick right there if I'm
I can
Yzerman.
now touch on that everyone has spoken their words. I did mess up, so I messed up on the amount of games that he played, his points, and everything. So 61 games played. 61 games played, 31 goals, 44 assists, 75 points for the USNTDP U18s. So my apologies, I messed up on that. Leslie, in terms of his production, yeah, his production was still good. It's less obviously than that top line, but you look at his line partners, and obviously it's not a Gabe Perreault and it's not a Ryan Leonard. So in terms of like him, because it sounds like that we're all kind of on that same wavelength, right? Is that like he just kind of needs to simplify things a little bit. His skating is so fast that I think he's trying to do everything on his own. And that kind of makes him get bounced off the puck a lot more. And that makes him, you know, not being able to distribute the puck as well as he should be, kind of like a Will Smith could. I do think that if you did put Oliver Moore in Will Smith's position, Oliver Moore could do just as well. But I do believe that Will Smith overall has better attributes already for the NHL right now. Will Smith definitely has a higher ceiling as well. And that is a good question. What is Oliver Moore's ceiling? Could it be just Dylan Larkin? For the Red Wings' sake, I would love to have that. I think having two Dylan Larkins for your 1-2 seed down the line, and then eventually you have Casper and Oliver Moore, then maybe you could push Dylan Larkin over to the wing. Dead. I've fallen over. My heart's racing right now just thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, this kid is just super talented. I love what he brings, and he definitely fits the Yzerman mold. Compete, just fast skater. We don't have a lot of fast skaters. Dylan Larkin's by far the fastest skater on the team. And the next one, could you guys even guess who the next fastest skater is? If you guys could think about it real quick. I don't even know. See? Yeah, think about it.
Mm,
I'm guessing.
I don't know if I could say Raymond. I mean, Mo is a good skater, but it's not like he's fast. He's just powerful. I honestly don't really know. Zadina is honestly a good skater. He just doesn't do anything else very well.
That's very true.
Oh, that
yeah. In terms of skating, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I definitely think that if you're picking at 9 and Oliver Moore is left, and you have someone like Axel Sandin Pellica, who we haven't talked on yet, if Ryan Leonard's gone, and that's another thing too. Maybe we can kind of talk on that. So we talked about Ryan Leonard before. So if your Red Wings at 9, and if you got Ryan Leonard and Oliver Moore there, you're going Ryan Leonard. It sounds like for you at least, Matt.
No, I think if it's between Leonard and Moore, I think I'd actually go with Moore. I think really only just because when you get down to pick 17, you still have options down there for winger. I mean, you have Colby Barlow, maybe Matthew Wood goes down that low. Kind of, I don't know if he was underrated, but he's ranked lower than 17. Kasper Halttunen is a good option. There's options down there. You don't really necessarily need to go with a winger. I think I'd rather go with Moore. I think Moore is just everything you're looking for in a center prospect. He's a really good skater, a good two-way game, really good shot. He has all the tools there. He just needs a little bit of experience under his belt to put it together. And I have a lot of faith that he will be a really good center at the NHL level. He
Derek,
can put
I
it
know that
together
you weren't
better
on the
than most
episode when we did
prospects in
profile
this draft,
Ryan
honestly.
Leonard. I don't know how much you're familiar with his game, but yeah, are you looking more to take, I guess, would you go with a center over a winger or vice versa with the 9th overall pick?
See, that's a very good question that I'm just not sure because at that pick, you're gonna no matter what you get, you're gonna get a really good player. And for the Red Wings, we
That's true.
could desperately use a winger, especially for Dylan Larkin up there, to have somebody who could like pass the puck maybe over to him and score a little bit. But at the same time, I would love to have the depth of a center on the second line. So that means all of our prospects coming up, especially all our wieners, have another person they can jump up there with. And
What are you
we'll
doing?
just have a stacked team. Don't look at me petting my squid. It's okay.
All right, continue. Sorry.
I'm
That's what he
making
does when
everybody
he's thinking.
uncomfortable.
honestly, I actually might have to go with Matt on this one, and I would probably go with a center because he is right. We're going to have quite a few options for wieners at that 17 pick. So I would, if Moore was there and he was probably the only one left up there, yeah, I'd take Moore. I'm hoping Will Smith falls, but
No,
for
you're
some
gonna
reason
have
I
to
still
trade
don't
up for
see that
him.
Well,
Most
happening.
definitely, you're gonna have to like if you wanted Will Smith, you have to trade with San Jose. Because I would be shocked
I
if
would hope
Columbus
so.
took him at 3, and I think 4th is probably your best spot, just so to make sure that Montreal Canadiens don't have a shot at him. For me, yeah, Ryan Leonard, or just in general, I guess a winger or a center. Thinking about it, yeah, I think I would have to agree with Leslie. On the other hand, as well, I mean, you could make the same case with the centers too. I mean, you got a lot of centers that you could make the case for. Maybe none of them are going to pan out to where they're going to have a highest ceiling as an Oliver Moore. Like Oliver Moore would have a really good chance at being a 1C. He wouldn't be an elite 1C, but like if he can be a Dylan Larkin's our 1C, and he does a good job at being that 1C. So if you have him and Marco Casper, I think that's great. But like a Ryan Leonard, I mean, that pretty much just replaces Tyler Bertuzzi. We talked about that, right? That like he is someone who is strong off the puck. He has a good shot. He's very explosive on his skates. And you look at Oliver Moore, who pretty much does the same thing. But we talked about that, right? All these players that are on the top line for USNTDP, that how much comes from their actual skill and how much is it leaned on towards all of them put together. So like you look at Oliver Moore and it's like you can easily say like, yeah, he pretty much did it on his own. So for that reason, yeah, I think I would choose Oliver Moore. And I love the idea that we have three really great centers. My goodness, I almost said 3 really great 3Cs because that's not true. Yeah, eventually, I do see a world where Larkin can move over to the wing, and
Yes,
you have
same
Marco
team.
Casper and you have Oliver Moore as that 1-2 punch down in center. And then if you can keep Joe Veleno as a really great 3C, I'm knocking on the table or pounding on the table for that. Actually, I think that that's something we can hold on to for sure. If not, then you just go out and find them in free agency or something, or you just draft another one. There's no right or wrong way, but Oliver Moore is someone that I would be hard pressed to pass on if he is there at number 9. I think that's a really good talent. I think that's an Yzerman pick 100% of the way, and I'm going to be pretty upset if we don't take him, and it's going to be sad if a team who takes him after us and he pans out to be Austin Matthews.
Hey, I'll tell you this much. Think about this. You probably have the potential to get Oliver Moore and then a guy like Colby Barlow at pick 17. And there's your winger McForkin, Colby Barlow. He scored like 45 goals this year. At that point, when you're down there at pick 17, just take the guy who scores the most. This prospect doesn't exist in the draft, but I wouldn't care if there was a guy who had 50 goals and 0 assists. I would take him. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, if you're down at 17 and I guess it depends on what you think the biggest need is. If you've addressed that biggest need, which I think is center, just go take the guy who can score the most. And there you go. That's 2 of your biggest needs solved. Go get a right
One
team
little
second
fun
round.
fact before we move on, unless
day.
Derek has more that he wants to say as well on Oliver Moore. Probably not, but we'll find out. For the USNTDP U18 team, Saints ranks 25th out of all the players that have. Since the 2000-2001 season, Oliver Moore, in terms of points, ever played out of that development program. So I don't know if that says anything to you guys. A name or a couple names that he's above is Logan Cooley, Phil Kessel, Isaac Howard, Frank Nazar, however you want to pronounce it, Rucker McGroarty as well. So just some names to pop out there. So, Derek, is that it? Leslie?
Yeah, that's it for me. Honestly,
wait, can you
Logan
read off the
Cooley,
names again?
Phil Kessel, Isaac Howard,
Phil Kessel,
25.
I say Rucker McGroarty and Frank Nazar, Patrick Kane as well.
Have you guys looked up
Logan
Cooley's college numbers recently?
I have not.
He had like 56 points or something in his rookie year in college. The fact that Oliver Moore is above him in the development program and he's going to be playing at Minnesota with him, take Oliver Moore and don't even think twice. I mean, the fact that he's above, I love that you just said that, because the fact that he's above Logan Cooley, and Logan Cooley looks like he should have been the first overall pick last year, smashed the table for Oliver Moore. And this is also something that I wanted to bring up. NHL GMs love guys like Oliver Moore, who are fast. They play 200-foot game. I already said my piece on that. GMs love this guy. I would not be shocked in the slightest if Arizona picks him at 6. I wouldn't even be shocked. I mean, he's just such a good player. And if Arizona doesn't take him, Philly and Washington are the next ones up to take him. I think he's a lot higher rated than we're making it seem. I really think he's one of the better players in this draft outside of the top 5.
You're not wrong,
Honestly,
Leslie.
outside of
look
the
how
top
far
5,
Dylan Larkin fell to us
he's
in the
number 6 for
2014
me.
draft. You redo that draft, he definitely should have been taken the. Okay, maybe I
Yeah,
should sell him myself because I would
exactly.
have to go back and look at some of the names. I'm pretty sure that was a very deep draft. Well,
No, he'd be high.
You
He'd
might have to
probably
look
be in the
back and
top
look at that
5 at
draft. I don't
least.
know. So
Maybe even higher.
maybe we'll do that in a. Yeah, maybe we'll actually do that for an episode. So
that was a pretty stacked
I'll write
draft
that down.
too back then.
Look at past drafts and see if maybe there was a way that we could have fixed our pick situations, like Evgeny Svechnikov and Denis Chalowski. Yeah, sad. I know. I just gave myself PTSD by doing that. So, all right, I think that's it on Oliver Moore, right? Everyone said their piece. Sweet. All right, that's it for us.
That's it for
I
me.
like it.
So we want to thank you guys for joining us once again. For those of you that are returning, for those of you that are new, make sure you're subscribing if you did like this episode so you can watch future episodes. Make sure you're smashing the like button. Derek's little octopus got a little bit bigger now that microphone just came out of his little butthole. Nice. And also, if you are listening to us on Spotify, whatever platform you're on, but on Spotify, yes, we're trying to do more. Make sure you're rating us 5 stars and you are giving us a follow so that way you are notified when the next episodes come out. Boys, final thoughts. Let's wrap it up.
Whew. Let's wrap it up. Let's go Vegas. Let's beat up Jamie Benn's team just because Jamie Benn sucks right now. We just all physically hate him with a passion. He's just everyone done with Jamie Benn. That's all we need to say. And let's go Kitty Cats because I want to see Carolina smashing some more sticks on their way into the locker room again because that was hilarious on that 0-1 loss when they had 35 to their 17 shots. That made me happy to see in Vegas, let me tell you.
Honestly, can you even blame them? I mean, what else do they have to do? Like, they didn't even play bad. They can't score at 5-on-5, and they can barely score in the power play. I'd smash my chick. I'd smash my stick too. Shit.
You need a Bob. Bob has been a gem this whole entire series for them. He's 10-2 right now with a .925 in the playoffs. Like, yeah, I think someone's keeping them alive pretty well right now there. But other than that, playoffs are the playoffs. Let's see if they win tonight for a nice clean sweep. Vegas clean sweep. I'm praying for them all. I threw away the Magic Conch because obviously we didn't get Bedard, so
It's all hail.
Maybe it'll come back
all
next
hail.
year.
The
Gotta pray for
magic
the best.
octopi.
And
I'll take that.
and you know what? Number 9, just let's get Oliver Moore just for you, Leslie. Hopefully, Yzerman sees the potential that you see. Number 9.
This isn't just for me. This is for Red Wings fans everywhere. They're going to fall in love with this kid. I promise you.
I'm banking on it.
Yeah. My final thoughts are fuck Jamie Benn.
All right.
That's about it.
All right.
That's
My
it.
final
I hate
thoughts
you, Jamie Benn.
are basically what these two Looney Tunes said. F you, Jamie Benn. You don't even munch box. You're weird. Never trust a dude that doesn't do that. You always got to save it for the
I was
end.
wondering if you were going to bring that
For
up.
the people who actually watch or listen to our full
There's no
episodes,
kids
that
left
one
in
was
this
for
one, we're
you. Go Red Wings. Kitty Cats in 4.
Well, I almost
Golden
brought it
Knights
up
in
right
4.
away, too.
Derek, we were the first ever fans. No, I said that was a lie earlier, but I'm claiming it back. It's ours. Yeah. Yeah, Kitty Cats in 4.
I've
Knights
never
in
got
4.
rid of it.
F you, Jamie Benn. You don't munch box, and go Red Wings. That's all I got, everyone. So yeah, make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're liking. Oh, also, make sure you're checking out Twitter for our giveaway. We announced the winner. By the time you guys watch this, the winner's already announced. And make sure you're following us on our community poll that we have going on for the top 10 Red Wings prospects in our pool. So go vote on that real quick, and we'll catch you guys on the next one on Hockey Town University. Bye-bye.